What's going on, everybody? And welcome to another episode of the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Times.
What's up? What's up?
And LeVon Maynard.
Hey, welcome to the show.
What is going on? So definitely tune in throughout the week. We had some really good episodes. So on Monday, we discussed the Clear AI company helping out Ukrainians or the Ukrainian government, I can't speak, with their AI tech and just how it may be problemsome. So definitely check that one out. That kind of alludes to what we're going to talk about today's episode. Then check out Tuesday, where we talk about the FBI and CISA warning about satellite communications and how on the day of the Ukrainian invasion or the Russian invasion of Ukraine, things got kind of wonky, for lack of a more technical term, when it came to satellite communications within that theater and how it's impacting planes and other things that are trying to do the normal daily routine of getting people back and forth between countries. So definitely tune in that one. Very interesting. MFA is discussed. So for all the MFA champions out there like LeVon, we discussed that as well. So definitely tune in that one. And then Thursday, there'll be no Ask Us SP. Friday, we'll do the weekly rundown. We should have lots of content for that. So if that's your thing, listen to us talk about movies, games, TV shows, books, things of that nature. Things that are not necessarily cybersecurity. And then next week, so the week after you hear this, the week of the 28th, we're taking a short hiatus and we'll be back the following week. So definitely like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit a bell if there's a bell involved, so that way you can hear or get a notification when we come back, which again, it's only for a 1 week break. So with that being said, I give it to myself. This article is coming from the InfoSecurity website. So infosecurity-magazine.com. It's written by Phil Muncaster and is titled Russia Uses Deepfake of Zelensky to Spread Disinformation. So President Zelensky of Ukraine, obviously you've seen him in the media a lot. You know, you got him in his battle rattle. He's out in the trenches. He's visiting his fellow soldiers. He's addressed Congress and the UN. There's videos out there of that as well. However, now there are videos that are surfacing of him telling his own people to lay down their arms, to give into Russia forces, basically to defect, things of that nature. All deepfakes, terrible deepfakes. They're not even good ones, but it's still a problem. Meta is still having to take these videos down of the Ukrainian president. It kind of all took place again on the 24th when the invasion began, and it stems from originally from a Ukrainian news site that was hacked. It's a Russian-speaking Ukrainian news station was hacked. Yeah, and then these deepfakes started to drop and what have you, because of the nature of the Ukrainian-Russian relationship. A lot of them do speak Russian. A lot of them, they're cousins, brothers, sisters, things of that nature. Like the border is very close. They used to be part of the Soviet Union. So they have Russian websites and Russian speaking people as well. This one happened to be taken over, and then the deepfakes started. Luckily, they're not that great, so it hasn't been too problemsome, except for like Meta now has to go through and remove these videos as they surface. The FBI warned of such techniques potentially happening a month ago, saying this could be a possibility. This is becoming more and more prevalent when it comes to cyber warfare and just disinformation in general. I guess I want to ask you guys how you feel about this and what you foresee the future looking like as this evolves, right? Because now we talked about the AI company that has like almost 10 billion photos, 2 billion of them being Russian, and others, how they've been kind of not necessarily banned from the West, but they have been fined by Europe, and Meta and Google and all of them are just like, we don't like this. because they're taking our images and now we're seeing that they're being used, not necessarily their images, but just images in general, right? Being used to create deep fakes and things of that nature. So what are your feelings about this?
Well, my initial thoughts were like, I saw this, I thought it was like very like unsurprising. Ever since we heard about deepfakes, we talk about this kind of thing happening potentially with other important people that like they may try to do something for like a president or something like that for our own country to try to make it seem like they're doing something nefarious. And obviously, this has just happened with the president of Ukraine. And I haven't seen the actual video itself, but I saw some still images. And to me, looking at it, I was like, that's obviously a deep fake. It looked very terribly made, and it looked like his head was actually just kind of, I don't know, snapped on top of a non-moving body or something like that.
Right, like a thumbnail.
Yeah, like a thumbnail or something. But I didn't see the video in motion and everything like that. But I would hope, judging by that, I was thinking that it was a pretty bad job. And it wasn't like the Tom Cruise one we saw a while back. That's like, you got to look at it like, damn, is that Tom Cruise really? But
right.
But I would hope that people weren't tricked by that. I hope nobody in Ukraine got fooled into like dropping their arms and like, okay, I guess we're losing. We better get out of here. But it's a very scary thing. Something that we got to be aware of. We know that deep fakes are possible, and I'm sure they're gonna get better with time. You can make them so that they're so good that they're like indecipherable. Besides like some high tech like technology that's able to decipher and determine if it's a deep fake. Just the human eye won't be able to actually identify it outside the real and the fake image. But it's some scary stuff, and especially with this big war going on. I mean, it can turn the tables if it's done correctly, I think. And people can see that, warriors, soldiers can see that in the field and be like, oh man, our president's telling us we gotta, shut this thing down and we gotta get out of here. I'm kind of curious now as I talk about this, if they're gonna, I know this group called Anonymous has been like talking about hacking Russia and doing all this kind of stuff. I wonder if they're gonna try to do one for like Putin, try to do like a Putin deep fake and try to try to turn the tables and like, yeah, I'm gonna tell the Russian people like, this is not like a military exercise. We're killing people by the hundreds and thousands, and maybe I'm not as good of a president as I claim to be, and all that kind of stuff. But nonetheless, I think it's just it's a crazy situation. I think I'm interested about the future. I'm concerned about the future if these deep fakes start getting indecipherable to the real thing. But Shannon, what you think about this one?
So like with the Tom Cruise thing you were talking about, like I thought that was good entertainment. Like when those were coming out,
yeah, those were funny.
Golf ball or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh man, it's funny, right?
Right.
And I haven't even seen a still photo of this one with Zelensky, right? But it kind of reminds me of, and this is a comedy movie, but if you guys have ever seen Little Nicky, there's the one where they put Little Nicky's head on Scarface when he's like shooting the machine gun and whatnot.
Right.
Like it was just like terribly made. It kind of looked like Terrence and what's the guys from South Park, right? The Canadian guys.
Yeah, I know you're talking about
Terrence and whatever it was,
Yeah, I can't think of them.
But yeah,
Matt
Stone. Terrence and Phillip or something like that.
Terrence and Phillip, that's who it is.
Oh,
Terrence
okay.
and Phillip, yeah. But it's kind of like Terrence and Phillip with the whole but like no, this is dangerous, right? Like this is dangerous. And the thing is, we have to go behind the curtain a little bit, everybody. We have conversations offline and whatnot, and in between us taping stories and or taping the podcast, not stories. Like this isn't Days of Our Lives, although it is it is Days of Our Lives because this stuff is really happening, right? This current
right.
But one of the things I brought up, and I was telling you guys, like it was a phrase that a person is smart and people are dumb, right? Kind of like the mob mentality, you know what I mean? And how that can work. And like the Ukrainians didn't fall for it, I don't think, because like the way it looks in this article is that Zelensky came out quickly, you know what I mean, with the real message, like, hey, the only people I'm telling to go home are the Russians, you know what I mean? Like we're already home, we're defending our home, we're defending our families, you know what I mean? You go home. So even if that did not happen, I find it hard to believe, right, that the Ukrainian people would just be like, well, I mean, the president says drop our arms. That's what we should do. You know what I mean? Like you're getting bombed. You know what I mean? You're getting shelled. and like it's not even military targets. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a difference between it being military targets. Like I don't agree with Russia being in there anyway, right? But like if it's a military target, it's one of those things where, okay, you should be able to um, take actions against those. But from a cybersecurity perspective, like this is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Because I just think if this was something that was to happen in America in the political climate that we have right now, it could be really dangerous. Like it could get very violent, and that's just not what I want to see. So this is one of those things where who gets held accountable for this, right? Like if they find out it is the Russian government, like what's going to happen for that? I saw something recently that Ukraine detained a Russian hacker recently. You know what I mean? So like, what are they doing to him? Right? Are they saying, okay, you're responsible for this, that, and the third? We have proof that you hacked this website of ours, or maybe it's the person that did the deepfake, right? Just apparently terribly made deepfake, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Yeah, this is dangerous. And it's only because we just aren't taking the time to sit and think for a little bit. Take 5 minutes, right? When you see something like this, to be like, does this make sense to me? You know what I mean? Like with what is going on and with what I know, does this make sense to me? You know, try to think about it from all angles.
Right.
Yeah, this is just not a good thing, man. And so again, the deepfake technology, it was for entertainment purposes. You know what I mean? Like you guys have seen. So it's not just like the whole thing with the Tom Cruise thing, but have you seen the one with the NFL players? That was mostly voice stuff, though, right? Like with what they were saying, like they had NFL players. It's like it has like Adrian Peterson. It's like, you got a peanut for me? You know what I mean? Like it's like silly stuff like that. It's stuff to make you laugh, but this is the worst part of it. And it's terrible.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I want to say I do a terrible job of cataloging the episodes. I really, it's too late now. I can't go back. But we talked about NSA tech, I want to say last summer maybe, that would help to authenticate these deepfakes to say if this is a real person or not. It has something to do with the eyes, like the way the eyes reflect light or something like that on some of the best deepfakes. Is still not realistic enough, and like this AI could decipher between it being a real person and being a deep fake, because they did one that had like Morgan Freeman, and it looked so real. Like Morgan Freeman was really saying this, and then they were like, no, it's not right because of these things, and mostly it had to do with his eyes. I'm like, okay, so there's some tech to hopefully negate this, but these were supposedly so bad that they didn't need that. It was the Terrence and Phillip situation. So they need to go that deep. But in the future, you know, like when it comes to disinformation, it'll definitely help us to decipher. But again, you have to hope people don't make rash decisions quickly, right? Like think about it. Like if you're into that person or that entertainer or that politician, and you know them, you know well enough, and they say something that's completely 180 degrees different, you might want to think about it for a second. Like, wait a minute.
Right. Yeah. Like, what's going on here?
You just told me to hold it down, and now you're saying give up. Let me decipher what's happening here. So it's definitely the future is looking crazier and crazier, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Your images are out there. If you're involved in social media, like even like Shannon is the non-social media guy. There's so many episodes. they got all types of angles of his face. So there's just so much you can get away with, right? Like I think a couple of years ago, they said the average person had their picture taken 30 to 40 times a day because everything has a camera, right? Whether it be their phone or the ATM or the corner store they went to, or they're putting surveillance gear on street corners and on traffic lights, things of that nature. Like all these things are to, you know, aid us in our everyday lives or make things more secure. At the same time, is images being collected on you that could be used in this situation. So the moral of the story is don't be important. If you're not important, you won't get defaked.
Right.
That's the moral of the story, kids. Because you can't get away from the images. Like, okay, you don't have social media, that's great, but you're still, if you leave your home, there are images of you being taken, even by third party. Like look at the situation that happened with January 6th from a non-political standpoint. A lot of these people were hemmed up because of third-party cameras. Like they weren't recording themselves. They happened to be in a frame of somebody else's recording, and now they're getting hemmed up because of it. So like everyone has a camera, everybody's a sensor at some point. So unfortunately, this could happen to anybody, but the more important you are, the more likely it is that people will use your images for something, either entertainment wise or disinformation. So there is that. With that being said, though, it's been a great week of topics. Definitely tune in to Monday and Tuesday. Today was the discussion. No Ask SSP this Thursday, but I look to having one of those in the near future. Tune into tomorrow's episode, which is Weekly Rundown, where we talk about everything aside from cyber. If you want to hear our opinion on movies and books or the Batman, because we have to have a conversation about that, definitely tune in. Hit up all of our social media. So primarily YouTube and LinkedIn, same name as the podcast. You can hit me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. I'm on Clubhouse, Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn. And you, LeVon?
Yes, sir. You can hit me up on the Twitters at LeVon Maynard.
There it is. Stay safe, stay secure.
Take care.